This is Sabrina, the Cheeky Realtor.
And this is Angel.
We're Dirt, Deeds, and Drama.
We bring the deeds,
Lots of dirt, and we never shy away from the drama. Grab your coffee
or your wine.
and let's get into it.
Land scams. Right now, what they're doing is you get a call as a real estate agent from a land scammer, and they say, "Hey, I need you to jump on this right away and list my piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
I want cash only. I want it quick." They won't FaceTime you. They won't take a Zoom meeting. They won't meet you in person. And then they're going to demand that it closes quickly and that it's only cash. Then they're going to demand that you use their notary. And that notary will falsify documents and turn it into the title company. First of all, now that you know there's a scam out there, you need to ask for ID.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to match up the ID. And there isn't a seller out there that's going to be offended that you're trying to match the ID with the deed, because the seller is going to be like, "Oh, this agent is doing their due diligence.
Exactly.
Smart gal, smart guy. Yay." Okay, so feel comfortable. It's so crazy to me that sometimes I'll be coaching somebody and they'll be like, "What if they get mad?" Because I mentor. What if they get upset? I promise.
Like for alcohol.
No, I promise you, no one will get
Are
upset.
you over 21?
Right. I promise you, no one will ever get upset when you're doing due diligence. People respect that. When sometimes I feel like I'm over analyzing a property, I end up getting lots of big compliments. "Wow, you really did your research and you really made it, easy for me to read." But I have all the analytics because I treat, and everyone should treat all their clients as intelligent sellers and buyers.
Because they are.
And so I'm going to send you all the analytics, no matter who you are. And if you need help with them, I will help you with them. But part of it, I really think, is going, "Hey, do you mind if I get your ID to match it with the deed?" Normally, we don't really stress over that because when it goes to title is going to notarize and ask you for your deed, right? Right now, because they're doing that land scam, you don't want to be invested halfway into it and have paid for pictures, professional photography, spent time, effort, energy. Come to find out this is going on. It's going to be really easy.
Yeah.
"May I please see your ID?" "Oh, well, I don't have time to meet in person." "Okay, I'm going to need a Zoom call and then you can email it to me." "Oh, I can't do that." If that doesn't red flag you, this is not the business for you. Like the minute you become aggressive to me and you start telling me, "I won't do that, I won't do this, and I won't do that," I'm going to now make it my mission to hunt down the real seller and to tell the real seller what's going on. I do it a lot with houses that might be on the market for sale. And then somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I'm trying to rent this house. Will you run it for me?" Because I tell all the people I know, if you're trying to rent a house, please call me. It'll take me 2 seconds to run it for you. Make sure it's a legitimate rental and not on the market for sale. Or being marketed by a different property management company than the one you told me was using it, because there's people falsifying being property managers.
Right.
I saw it happen in Lincoln a few weeks ago.
Good Lord.
And it's really sad, right? Because the people were at the door getting ready to move in.
No.
Yeah.
With their U-Haul?
With their, yeah.
Oh.
And she was picking up her mom.
No.
Picking up her mom from the elderly facility she was in, and her husband was away. So here they are. They packed up their family, drove several hours at the door. The guy had the key. He went in, looked at the property as, I'm assuming, back to the story. So basically, you really need to get ID up front with all the scams going on. And the first red flag is unwillingness of the seller to communicate with you face to face. At the very least, you should be able to take a phone call from me so I can see your face. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google the real seller and see if, because even if they jump on a call with you, doesn't mean they're the person. So whether you use the Crystal application or whether you go hunt them down on Google or on Facebook and look them up. I want to know. I want to know if it's you. Jeff Smith, for example, is the name he's giving me, and it matches the deed. I want to know which Jeff Smith. There's a million Jeff Smiths.
Mhm.
I'm going to need ID. I'm going to need to make sure it's the same Jeff Smith. Why doesn't your ID match the address that is on this? Because even if you're renting out a property, you have your address on the deed.
Yeah.
I want to know why it doesn't match.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on. But with rentals, I background check them a lot for people.
Mhm.
And then if I realize that there's a scam, I will hunt down the agent who has the listing and tell them what's going on and give them all of the information. I've done it now probably 100 times, where it's just sad because people will be like, "Oh, I paid them. Oh, it's okay. I didn't get scammed. I just paid them the application fee." Okay, well, the application fee was $40. If you can get 100 people to fall for that,
Yep.
okay, that's $4,000 a day in scam money.
Yep.
So we want to kill off their source of income and make them leave our industry.
When I took my daughter to Santa Cruz to look for an apartment, one that we went to, she showed us the apartment. It wasn't great. There was stuff in there. Obviously, somebody's living there,
Right.
so you can't really see your own stuff in there. And then we left, and she's like, "Well, do you want an application? Because it's $50 if you want an application. Like, you're going to charge me just to get a piece of paper?
Not to run the application, to get the
Just
application.
to receive it." She's like, "I will give it to you if you give me $50.
No, it's to run the application.
No. That was a whole separate transaction with another amount of money. Yeah. So
that was a scam too.
we left that one quick.
Because really, it's partly why, and I know not everybody wants to do property management companies because you have to pay them usually, I don't know everywhere else, but usually in our area, it's half of the first month's rent. So if a place is $1,000 a month, you're going to have to pay them $500, but they're background checking the client for you, pulling their credit, doing all sorts of reference calls. So it's worth what they're doing for you, and it's worth it for peace of mind. But also, if you're not using a property management company, you're putting yourself at risk for fraud as a landlord to one or two houses. So it's something to really consider. Like, you see, I got my serious voice on. Like, this isn't a joke to me. This is so serious because I've had so many people who are embarrassed and they call me and they're like, "Oh my God, I think I'm being scammed. There's this great house." And it's always the same 4 or 5 stories. One story is, "I'm a Christian missionary and I'm going to go and I just want to bless somebody with this low rent while I'm gone." No, it's fraud. And I had to argue with multiple people. He's not a nice Christian person. Do not believe him, because no one is going to rent out a house that's $3,500 for $1,200. No one.
Nope.
No
Too
one.
good to be true.
And I immediately looked at it before I even got deep into it. I immediately looked at what was owed on the house. There's no way to cover the expenses on the home with what I could see the mortgage was and when the mortgage was gone. And the house was listed on the market also, which is a big red flag. I call the agent. The agent confirms, "No, it's not up for rent. I'm selling it." And I'm like, "Okay, here's all the info." But these people use burner phones. So the police, it's hard to track. I think I want to say 75% of the time they're out of the country. Not always, because the one gal that got scammed nearby met with him at some point. So it's not always, because it's an easy scam. Think about it. I rekey the house. I call a locksmith. I then show you the home, and it feels legit. The guy had keys to the house. He showed me the home.
Wow.
And if you think about it, a lot of times, because we've all had rekeys, the locksmith doesn't ask you for ID or check who owns the house.
Ooh.
Some probably do. Don't come at me in the comments if you're a locksmith. If you don't, please start because it's very traumatic to some of these families.
Mhm.
If you think about it, if you're giving, and if you're legitimately, you're like, oh, the rent is legit for that area. I met with the guy. He showed me the house. He gave me keys to the house. And then property management shows up and goes, I didn't rent this to you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get out. And here's the police.
Yep.
And the property manager was very kind and very sweet, but she's like, and she's further helping them. But it's very traumatic for this family who probably did first month, last,
and
security deposit. Yep. So let's say it was only a 25, let's say it's probably more like 3,000 minimum, but let's say it's 3,000 minimum. That's $9,000 gone for a family who doesn't have any more money. It was right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Uprooted their family.
I don't have $9,000.
Right. So
cash.
I think it's a really big deal to try to understand the impact and the significance of this kind of dirt.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely horrific dirt. This is dirt that comes with lots of red flags. It can sometimes involve your deed, and it's always very dramatic for those people going through it. So it's not always going to be funny stuff here on Dirt, Deeds, and Drama. This is some really serious warning out there to everybody who's new to renting or new to home buying, because some people get scammed. Oh, I'll take a low cash offer on the house.
Or a new agent.
On the house you have listed, or a new agent. And a baby agent, and you're like, oh, they want to really get this house off the market. They're selling it for super cheap, and and cash buyers only, and blah blah blah, and they're selling it off market, and the house was up for rent. That's why it was empty. So you really, really need real estate agents on your side. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of us out there. You probably know a friend who is. If your friend isn't willing to do a little market research for you to help you either way, you need a new agent. Also,
pick me.
Yeah. Cheeky realtor, Angel. But you really need to have an agent who you can call up and go, hey, will you evaluate this for me? Hey, will you do this? But remember, that's the agent you need to use when you're transacting. Don't just be asking them for stuff.
Yeah.
We're happy to help. They're happy to help. The agent around you is happy to help in whatever state you're in. But you have to be consistent with it. If that's your agent, that's your agent. So that when you do have a transaction, you're like, hey, call them up, be like, thank you for all of the information you've been giving me, and I'm going to use you. It is not cool. I'm going to just take a minute. It's not cool. And people can like or not like this. It's not cool to use that one agent for all your information and then go use somebody completely different to do your transaction. If the agent you're going to use isn't willing to take your calls for all the other stuff, that shouldn't be the agent you use. Because clearly the agent who does all the research for you is giving you every drop of customer service that is in their professional portfolio. They're here to service you. They're here,
and it's what people deserve.
Well, and at the end of the day, it is. I think it's fair. It's fair that they did all this work without any compensation. And I don't think people realize I get overhurt pretty quick. And I'm going to tell you, I had one situation where I did a lot of work and research and numbers for multiple homes. I lined somebody up to buy another home. I explained to them how to do it. They owned a home. They wanted to buy another home and keep the first home. And I'm sure they're going to watch this and know I'm talking about them. I still love you. It's fine. But all of a sudden, what happened was a lender jumped in. Apparently, the lender I had them with wasn't responsive according to them. I don't know. So I'm not going to judge either party on that. I'm just going to tell you the facts. So they went and got a new lender that was more responsive. Totally up to them, right? But me and this lender had done a lot of work and given them a lot of numbers and showed them how to structure owning, turning their current home into a rental and buying another home. Because it's a process and you need to understand the process. And me and the previous lender had walked them through the entire process multiple times and really structured it for them. The new lender offers them $2,500 to use their agent, which, by the way, is illegal. It's illegal to do that. What they didn't realize was I was going to give them a rebate anyway, because the one spouse was a first responder, and I do military on the move and the Heroes program, and that gives you a rebate from me at closing. And it's the way I say thank you. It's the way you say thank you. We do direct. We donate directly back to the client. We have to have you signed up in advance, and we will happily do so. And so they would have gotten more money than that had they allowed me to do their transaction. But they didn't tell me. They kept asking for info and talking to me about stuff. And then right before closing, we went with another agent. And I'm like, or another lender. And I'm like, that's okay. I can still write the contract. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, we went with another agent. We're about to close. It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart.
Wow.
And this was somebody I was close to. I developed a relationship with. I was super excited too, because the week before I felt like we were bonding. Yeah. We were becoming actual better friends. Yeah. And it was hurtful. Not because they used somebody else. You can use whoever you want. It was because they didn't tell me. They weren't upfront about it and continued to ask for advice while they were transacting with somebody else.
Who should have been
saw me multiple times from the time they started their transaction and said nothing and waited till right before close. And I don't know. It just hurt my feelings. Yeah. It really did. And they wanted to stay friends and they wanted to hang out and they were like trying to mend things. And I just needed a day. And after a couple of days, I was over it. But they thought I wasn't, And so there was a little trash talk behind my back. But honestly, it's fine. I got over it within literally 3 days. I was over it. I'd even forgotten about it, actually, when somebody brought it up again. And I was like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I completely forgot about it. And I was happy for them that they ended up with their house, at the end. Because I have very short memory when it comes to that sort of thing. It's happened a few times. But normally when it happens, it's not somebody that's close to me. So having developed this relationship and friendship that was aside from that, but I was the person who brought you through that journey and explained to you when you were kind of lost about it, how you can structure it and how you can do both and how you can become a multi-home owner. And at the end, you betrayed me for an illegal $2,500, which had you even talked to me about it, you would have realized I was going to legally give you a bigger rebate. You left money on the table using this other person. And whatever. But they permanently were like, I think, feeling guilt. And then it turned into anger towards me. And everything I did after that, everything I did after that was, she's still mad because she didn't do the transaction. And it's hilarious to me when a few people have brought it up and told me, because I literally let it go.
Wow.
Pretty much the same week, because it's not that it doesn't happen, because sometimes what'll happen is you'll show people homes, you'll do all the work, and all of a sudden they'll find a home, they'll call their cousin, their mom, their sister who didn't want to show them homes because they thought they weren't serious, and then the relative writes the offer and you're like, That doesn't happen now with the buyer broker agreement. What's up? I love the buyer broker agreement. I started using it way before everybody made it mandatory to use in the state of California anyway. And now basically, gotcha. If you want to work with me and I spend all my gas money running you around, happily.
You're going to hire me? Sign this.
Yeah, sign this. And I don't take money from buyers, but you're under the agreement to make sure that you at least use me when I show you specific homes. Because there were a few times.
Agents really do a lot of work.
They do. We do. We spend a lot of
our own money.
We spend, money on gas. We sometimes buy water and coffee. I've taken clients to lunch. I've taken clients to dinner. And then I come back and I spend hours doing research on the properties you liked so I can give you more information on the ones that you liked. So we're talking about hours and hours of work, gas money. I think it's fair to say that, you jumping ship last minute or wanting even out of your buyer broker agreement so that somebody, your aunt's now mad at you because you didn't use her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, your aunt should respect the fact that you worked with this person for 3 months. They've been running around. They've probably spent no less than $700-800 on gas. Because gas is expensive, guys, and we're running around showing it to you. And, COVID really took people out of each other's cars. I never drove clients around because I think it's a liability to drive someone in your car. If someone hits you, if, you accidentally do something that can cause an accident, you become liable for that person's safety. Yeah. So I have always made it a rule. There's only been a few times, where I put people in the car, and then COVID happened and everybody stopped. Everybody was driving their own separate vehicle.
Right.
Which I personally like. I think it takes away your liability from having somebody in your car. I have had a few clients who are like, save your gas, hop in the car with me. I want to drive, and I think that was their way of like, we're not getting in the car with some chick who we don't know, we don't know about her driving record. It's clean. But, so they drove, which I'm happy to do. But in general, I personally don't want the liability of having somebody in the vehicle with me. So I tend not to. And it's fine if you do. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Dirt, Deeds, and Drama. Follow us on all the socials.
Woo-hoo!